Hey there, everybody. It's Modern Native. Sorry I'm a minute late. Had other plans, another video plan, another live plan that I wanted to do, but things didn't work out that way. So we're gonna hang out. I might take you guys for a walk through the woods, show you guys the new camp site that I'm going to be setting up probably tomorrow. I've got some prep I have to finish up doing here and some cleanup inside the tent so that way I can actually get the stuff organized out, moved, and then reorganized back in. So that will be coming soon, probably tomorrow. So it is what it is. Sometimes the things that you want to do that you have planned just don't work out that way. So it is what it is. Alrighty. So it's kind of a hangout, Q&A, chat, kind of whatever. Like I said, I might show you guys around the woods, the campground, the camp area. I need a new selfie stick. This thing is falling apart on me. Sorry, guys. There. Jesus. So hello to whoever's joining, hanging out. Shit. So, I mean, today we can talk about YouTube advice, outdoor stuff, bushcrafting, survival, things like that. Um, Kind of thrown for a loop. I had this planned, had it scheduled, announced it, and then when I went to go set up to do my tent camp setup, the tent wasn't ready to be moved. So, a little frustrated. But that's how it is sometimes. You've got to roll with the punches, and when something doesn't work out your way, you just need to readjust and take a new angle. So, part of me wanted to just cancel the live altogether and not do it, but at the same time, um, we can get it rolling into something else. So feel free to say hi, pop up on the panel, throw me a thumbs up, share it out, anything. Um, wasn't much of an opportunity for that. Yeah, Laura, it's sometimes things can throw you off kilter and you just you get thrown out of whack and you can't refocus, but you need to practice to when it happens, just have something ready to as a backup as your second plan. I didn't have anything exactly set up, so that's why this is just kind of a whatever it is thing. Um, I was looking at some of my other subjects, and I was like, I could do the Widowmaker Q&A, but it hasn't cycled around enough yet that I don't feel like most of my core audience has seen it yet. Um, so I wanted to wait a little bit until people got to see that a little more, and then do the Widowmaker Survival Challenge Self-Rescue Q&A. And I was going to do a YouTube advice panel, and but I had just done a bunch of YouTube stuff, so I was like, I'm just going to do the hangout and chat kind of thing and see what happens. People like doing that, and it's a good opportunity to share and get your stuff out there. I might take you guys with me while I go and do chores, go and get some firewood. So I'll take it and set it up, and you guys can watch me cut stuff up and stuff like that. And I'll have you in my ear, but I'll mute the mic until I'm done with the chainsaw. And hopefully I'll have somebody up on panel at that point that can chat and talk and interact with me. Even if I can't talk and it's muted, I can still interact with them while they're talking to me. So it's just kind of a muggy, crappy day. It was super hot and there's a lot of humidity, so it just feels heavy. It's awesome. It's how it is in Washington. When I was making my way across, on the bus, you could see which state and which city things were legal. Going on, Bud Files? We're just doing a hangout and chat. Um, I might take everybody while I go and get firewood. I might, it's kind of a free for all kind of thing. Seems that's what everybody does. They're at work, they're on YouTube. Just about every other comment on the busier lives, you see, oh, I'm at work, I'm listening. Great Farm Freelance, what's going on? Shane, right? Yeah, that's Shane. How you doing? You can come up on panel if you want to hang out. I'm just kind of doing a hangout and chat, talk about YouTube advice or outdoor stuff, bushcraft, survival, camping, hanging out. That's funny. I didn't get the chance to pin the link in the at the top, but if you scroll up, it should still be there. Or I can post it again. What's going on, Sapphire? How you been? Doing a hangout and chat, just chilling out kind of thing. I haven't started the fire, so the flies are a little bad today. Awesome, Shane. Drive safe. Like, don't pay attention to the chat, just listen. I have a real pet peeve when it comes to people texting and driving, especially to me, because I've had the partial text come through and then the immediate text came after it. Oh, I just rear-ended somebody. Then why the hell are you still texting me? It's a huge pet peeve of mine. You don't drive angry, you don't drive while you're crying, and you don't text. That's my big things. That's my big rules when it comes to driving. Absolutely, Shane. You're a part of the family. We don't want to see you get into an accident. It's one of the scariest things, like I said, when I get that message. Oh, I just got into an accident. Well, fuck. Now I feel like it's my fault because I was talking to you and you felt obligated to respond. That's why whenever anyone's like, "Oh, I'm driving," I won't even respond. I just wait. I give it like an hour, then I message them. I'm like, "You still driving?" Yeah, like I was saying earlier, I was thinking about doing my survival challenge, Widowmaker self rescue Q&A, but I just don't feel like enough people have seen it yet. So I'm giving it a little bit of time for it to circulate a little more. Probably next week, I'll do the live Q&A, see what people think, what they thought about the process that I took, um, the fact that I legitimately actually got pinned and the tree was a little bit heavier than I was expecting, and I got kind of crushed a little bit. I've got some bruising. She's good. She's working. Um, but yeah, I got bruised up a little bit, and my hips and my muscles hurt from it. And that bit of panic that was in that video, that was real. I actually panicked a little bit because I didn't have a backup. Like the shovel probably would have got me out, but it was still the fact that I had set the mindset that that wasn't available. So it was uh it was definitely a good experience. I enjoyed it, and I hope it ends up helping someone down the line. Like I hope nobody ever has to actually think about that video and is like, "Oh, what did he say I had to do when this happened?" But if that is ever the case, I hope that that ends up helping someone. I'm super happy. I got a lot of good interaction and response on what, Laura, what kind of wood burning apparatus is it? Is it a wood stove, a pellet stove? Is it, I don't know, one of those place in hearths that you can get? Because I know when I was installing ours, A, even with help, getting that heavy ass thing up there was damn near impossible. Definitely was not meant to go up that many stairs. And then having a bunch of half-ass corroded pipes that I had to cobble together made it work though. Sorry, I keep messing with my mustache. There's this one hair right here that keeps curling into the middle. Thanks, Shane. Appreciate that. So if it's already placed on its footing, then you just need to run the pipe and get the insulated pipe to go through the wall or the roof, depending on which way you're going. You can probably find someone. Well, if you, That's awesome, Sapphire. But if you contact the company that you bought it from, you can probably get in touch with a installer they recommend, or you can look on Craigslist and find somebody who's a handyman or someone who talks about wood stoves or whatever. You can generally see someone doing it. Um, there are a lot of instructional videos on YouTube, but that's something you definitely have to double check and make sure, and just make sure you do plenty of research before you fire that up fully, and just do a practice couple of paper burns. So a little bit of cardboard paper in there, make it nice and smoky, close it up, see if there's any leaks. Because if you start a wood fire and it actually catches and you can't get it to stop, you're going to have a continuous burn of smoke coming into your house if you have a leak. So definitely make sure you double check, make sure, and then test. And test a couple of times. I'd even go through and close all the dampeners when you do the fire, the the paper fire, just to make sure it smokes a lot. So that way, if there's any leaks or backdraft or whatever, you'll see it. And if you do it with the lights off and you flash a flashlight around the piping, you can see the smoke in the air a lot easier. It's the only thing I can actually say to help. I mean, I'm in New York. You're probably way too far away for me to be like, oh, I'll come over and help you install it. But I'm sure you can definitely find someone out on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace or the Facebook jobs or resumes. There's a page for it. Or depending on your area, if you go onto Facebook, a Facebook group that's local to your area that has like cabins, off-grid living, things like that, you can probably find someone relatively close who can or know someone that you can get to install it for you. There's that for you. But yeah, Sapphire, it's always fun when you go and camp out, especially when you do a backyard camp or a patio camp. It's a lot of fun, and it's a good way to dip your toe in to get to actual deep roughing it camping. Hi, Emily. See, we don't really have an issue with snakes. Like we do have poisonous snakes up here, but and if you contact Ace Hardware, I'm sure they have local installers or a list or something. You talk to the department manager of the department that has the stoves in it. He should have a list or at least some information of people who can install it. But I feel like I remember Emily, but I don't at the same time. But hi, welcome. Thank you everybody for stopping in. And that was a pretty good question, Laura. Um, it's what a lot of people don't think of is when you get one of those packages, the package stoves or whatever else, you there's not a lot of instruction if there is any, because it's not meant to be installed by a resident. It's meant to be installed by someone who's certified in wood stove installing. So it's like technically, if you do it yourself, it's not like up to code or regulated because it needs to be certified and inspected technically. But 90% of people don't do it. So stomach to keep you talking to me. But I like wood stoves. They're more versatile than pellet stoves because obviously, like if you don't have, yeah, I gotta say spiders are definitely worse than snakes, especially out here. Am I coming through audio wise okay and everything? I mean, nobody has said anything, but just want to make sure. It's my first time using the Bluetooth with this phone on StreamYard. But out here, um, spiders are definitely the more concern. Um, I've been bit quite a few times. The wife's been bit quite a few times, and we both kind of have this minor allergic reaction. Our throats get tight. We kind of It's hard to breathe a little bit, but it's nothing super severe. It's just a minor, like, baseline anaphylactic reaction. What sounds good? Oh, my audio. Okay, my bad. 3 seconds and I forgot what I fucking said. Thank you, baby. But yeah. When it comes to like a pellet stove or a wood stove, I definitely would choose a wood stove because if you don't have pellets, you obviously can't run a pellet stove. But when it comes down to it, absolute necessity, you can burn just about anything in a wood stove. Oh, I bet you have plenty of wood then. You've uh you've got it stored nice so it stayed dry. I'm sure you've seen some of my videos during the winter where the wood stacks were getting frozen together because the moisture that was inside of them. Oh, nice. I've got videos like that. Just I don't have any wolves howling. Well, actually, I have the audio of Monster now. I could probably splice that in a couple of times into one of those. Sorry, zoned out for a second. Um, Alrighty, Laura, you have a good one. I might be on when you come back, if you come back. But thanks for hanging out. Thanks for interacting, throwing some questions out there. Make sure you hit that like and share me out if you can. Um, I really need to get my notebook so I can at least talk about stuff. When I'm trying to sit here and think about something, I just keep pulling a blank. Yes, blank. 1 second. Alrighty, I'm back. So, I mean, is there, yeah, this is going to be a shitty one. I need to come up with more jokes. I've been writing jokes to think about doing a comedy skit hour kind of thing. Got some COVID jokes. And I had another joke the other night, but I totally forgot to write it down. I got distracted. I should have called this Build Your Tribe and just done a growth one and talked about the points of having higher quality friends and inner circles rather than conditional and obligated, obligatory friends kind of thing. Fair weather friends. Dealing with failure, cat fever, dogs, be a better kid. Hello to everybody. Anybody who's joining in. Just saw a third one pop up. There's the link again if anybody needs it, wants it. Just doing a open chat kind of thing. So I'm just trying to think about something to talk about. It's kind of hard to sit here and think of things to talk about by myself when I didn't have an actual planned out monologue subject. I was so focused and excited, and I'm almost at the point where I'm about to scrap this because it's only you and Shane listening to me right now. So keep digging, metal detecting. Sorry, I must have not got the comments coming through. Uh, just hanging out, doing a chat and kind of open Q&A, just kind of going wherever it's going to take us. But I'm doing pretty good, hanging out at camp with the boys. Um, we got two other people hanging out in the chat, but it's two listeners. They're both working, doing stuff right now. So, um, yeah, it's probably lagging a little bit on my end. My signal isn't 100%. Um, and there's a delay on StreamYard side when it comes through because there wasn't anything, and then I came over to the banners and I was looking at my brand and a bubble popped up and then it was like four chats. Four of your chats were right in a row. So I'm full-time camping. The wife and I are full-time camping and have been since April 12th. And we were pretty much been full-time camping for over a year because before that we were in the off-grid cabin. There was no running water. It was an extension cord to get some power from, and we lived by the creek. So it was off-grid cabin. And before that, all last year, we were full-time camping. I was hammock camping. She was tent camping. And so, yeah, since June of last year, pretty much been camping full-time. Because I even count at the cabin. It really wasn't much more than something I would make as a shelter out bushcrafting. The wind blew through it. There was no insulation. You could see the smoke go up the chimney, roll out by the window, and then blow through the window because the whole frame was half an inch wide. But yeah, if you look back at my channel or some of my other videos, you can see we've been full-time camping. I love full-time camping. There he is.
How are you?
What's going on?
Modern, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. Like I said, I
Good.
was planning on something else, but things got adjusted, so I got thrown for a loop when I started this. I already had it planned out, and then I realized I couldn't do the live I had planned um, like 5 minutes before this started. So I was like, shit, I got to change the thumbnail, change the title, change the description, go. I
Ah, you're all right. Do what you got to do, bro. We're still gonna come and watch you.
appreciate it. I used to
Yep.
have a lot coming in on my lives, but after I fell off, people fell off of the habit. YouTube might have unsubscribed them, took off the notification, so it's taken a while for me to build back up.
Yep.
And
Yep.
thanks, keep digging. I definitely appreciate that.
Hey,
I'm going to
keep
be getting
digging.
more
How
into
are
your
you?
guys' stuff. I'm going to be getting more into
I'm a
your
big
guys'
metal
stuff soon.
detector as well. I'm a big avid metal detector rock hounder. Uh, that's cool. Keep digging. Yeah.
If when I get a metal detector, I'll be doing a lot of that. But I got my magnet from the Swamp Rat Nation. He sent that up to me last year. You know
I
Swamp
want to
Rat?
do that. That's the next thing I want to do. Modern is I want to try that. I want to try magnet fishing.
Have you seen the Swamp Rat?
I haven't seen him now. No, I watch.
He,
There's a guy I watch that's get. He's been in it for quite a while. A squirrel, squirrel magnet fishing. Squirrels magnet fishing. It's called.
yeah, yeah. Swamp Rat's been around before him, and they both kind of came out of the Magnetic Squatch. If you look up the Magnetic
Okay.
Squatch, he was the channel that they kind of got inspired by, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, I knew Keep Digging knew that because I've seen you there. Um,
Yeah.
that he's a huge networking channel where everybody goes to him, all the magnet fishers, all the metal detectors, outdoor
I'm
people.
gonna have to
That's where
go over there then because
Friday
I've
nights.
been going out quite a bit. I've got a bounty hunter. I've got a bounty hunter metal detector, and of course a bounty hunter pinpointer. But
Nice.
I love it. I absolutely. I've made some good coin off it.
Yeah,
Certain
I need a
times.
metal detector.
Yeah.
Auntie Tasha, she said that she's got one somewhere. They just got to find it. It's in storage somewhere. So um,
Hmm.
I'm hoping to get some metal detecting going because this is an older forest that was used for logging and stuff way back when, and it was a tree farm, a Christmas tree farm. So there's going to be a lot of goodies just kind of like dropped around that you can find.
Well, that's what I do is I go around find old homesteads, like old
Hmm.
foundation houses, old home foundations. I do a lot on the beach. The best money I ever made was I was at the beach doing the beach, and a guy ran up to me and he's like, "Dude, I need your help." He's like, "I lost my keys to my BMW," and I was like, "Okay, no problem." We went up. This guy had just bought this brand hammer new BMW convertible, and the roof was down, and it was going to start to rain. And he didn't have his keys, so
So
he
he was
put his
screwed.
roof up or even get the car. He didn't want a wrecker to come get the car, so he's like, "Could you do me a favor?" And I was like, "Yeah." So I combed the beach for him, and about 2.5 hours later, I found these weird looking keys, and they had BMW on it. I ran up to him. I said, "That there's your keys, bud." And he was so grateful. He just opened his wallet and whatever was in his wallet, and it was like 250 some dollars. And he's like, "Here." I was like, because the key, he said the key would have cost him like $800 to get a
Oh yeah,
key, but
especially
because of the
a brand new
rain,
BMW convertible that's got
oh
the
yeah,
chip
this
in it.
thing
It
was
probably had
slick.
the retractable key and everything.
Oh, this thing was slick. It was brand new too. It was like 3 or 4 days old, but he told me. But yeah, it was just about to start to rain, downpour, and his roof was down. So he got his roof up
Yeah,
just in time.
yeah. That water damage on that BMW would have been more than that key. Not to mention just the
Oh,
key
and the thing
alone.
is I don't know if insurance would have, insurance companies are finicky, right? They would have said,
Nope, that
"Hey,
was negligence.
you had your top down, you know."
That was negligence. They wouldn't have covered that shit. They would have been like,
I would.
nah, cop that. Yeah, that's on you.
Yeah, that's your $150,000 investment down the drain.
Yep. It just lost 40% of its value. Go ahead
Yeah,
and sell it to
kids
a
don't buy
sucker.
expensive cars. Kids
Well,
don't
don't
buy
be
expensive
stupid after
cars.
you buy expensive cars. But
Mm, mm-hmm.
yeah, what I really want to do is there's this lake. It's the Great Second Dog Lake out here. and it used to be a valley, and there was a Native American village. My ancestors lived in that village by the lake, by the creek before it became the river that became the lake. They flooded the valley to control flooding in this area. So there's an
Mhm.
old village down there, remnants of it, and I want to go and find it. Like it was burnt down and everything. They burnt down most of everything, so but there's still going to be metal pieces. And
Oh
I want to
yeah.
take a
Oh
metal
yeah.
detector. I want to take a magnet with me. Like I
Mhm.
want to dive down, even if scuba gear is expensive, but if I have a fucking air tube with a bubble above my head, I can breathe all day.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. And the thing is, did they log the area before they flooded it?
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
they
Yeah.
logged it. Scorched. They burnt. They had fires running that valley for 2 years.
Yeah.
They burnt the whole valley out.
Yeah. Well, see,
So
I logged
anybody
in British Columbia. I logged in British Columbia my when I was 19 up till I did it for 7 years in BC in British Columbia in the Robson Valley, and we worked on
take care, keep
a
digging.
man-made lake, which was Kimbasket Lake, it's called, and it was the same way. It was a lake years ago, or it was a forest years ago, and what they did was they went in, logged it all, and then they flooded it. And a dude in town, a guy in town, turned around and bought a tugboat, and he put it out on the lake, and the logs from years and years ago started floating to the top. So he was grabbing these logs and taking them over to the shore, and he bought a little portable sawmill, and he was putting these logs. And I'm telling you, you want to see some awesome lumber that came out of these logs because they were waterlogged, but yet they
Hmm.
were preserved. And
Yeah, the
this guy
pressure
was
down there,
selling
no
this lumber. He
oxygen. It would
became a
have.
millionaire, is what
Hmm.
happened. He became a millionaire, like just like that, because he was selling the lumber to overseas. They were buying this really cool lumber for making countertops and stuff because it had all it had different hearts in it, different colors, different. Oh, it's just amazing. And yeah, he
Yeah,
from a man-made lake, right? So
yeah, because the core would have stayed normal. It would have stayed almost exactly how it was, and as it went out, it would have gone to petrified states.
that's what
So that
happened. Yeah, it was getting darker and darker and darker, and like I said, there was purples and black and brown and just really deep,
and
deep dark
yeah,
colors.
that was the chemicals in the water from the flooding of all the other stuff that was mixed in with that water when it flooded that area. That was the chemicals and the different minerals and stuff in that water that got stirred up, got absorbed by that wood and actually changed the color.
Yeah, it's
It's amazing
beautiful
what wood
stuff.
does when it's exposed to different things.
Well, you'd think it would rot. You'd think it would rot and be no good, but these logs were just as if they were cut down, right? Like just as if nothing happened to them.
Well, that's what people don't get is a log will rot on the surface. If it is sunk below, it doesn't get oxygen like that, and it generally gets covered. So it ends up preserving it. What the natives used to do, got them. What the natives used to do, I already blocked you, you some bitch.
Oh, is there a nitty? Oh yeah, look at that goof. Punk.
Hey, Susan.
Go find something else to do, buddy. Like really? There's
But
millions of other channels and you got to come and bother somebody that's making sense.
yeah, I didn't mean to highlight that. Um, but what the natives used to do is their wooden canoes, when they when they needed to save them for the winter, when they had the harsh winters like we have, they
Mhm.
would take them, put them in the lake when right before the freeze, and sink it with rocks. So when the thaw came, come spring, the water level was really low. They could go out there, take the rocks off, let it float to the surface. Perfectly preserve the canoes. It
Okay,
didn't
yeah.
crack from the freeze. They didn't freeze and crack. They didn't rot, and it preserved them.
And the thing is they would take one tree and make one canoe, like one whole canoe out of it, wouldn't they? Carve it out by hand, right?
Yeah, most of them. It was uh burn and scrape, I think is what they called it. I think there's another name for it, but it's what they did is they started a fire on the log and burnt out the center of it and scraped it out layer at a time until they had that nice hollow that they could just sit in.
You imagine how long that took to do?
A good
You
master
imagine?
could get one in a few days.
Yeah, I know, but just even, I mean, just the amount of work that probably was in it, you know,
I'm gonna make one
that
like
it's
that.
not
It's
easy
one of my
work to
dreams.
do,
No, I'm
right?
trying to find the right log to make it. but it's really hard to find a log like that nowadays because it's got to be 3 or 4 feet wide for me to actually
Yeah.
take one
And
whole
there's no
log,
old
cut
growth
the
forest
top off.
left.
Not really.
Yeah.
There's a few around
There's
here,
no old growth left.
but it's literally like 3 trees in the whole forest. And trying to drop that
Hmm.
tree and get a nice section out of it and not feel like an asshole.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, see, I just smudged my house yesterday. Completely.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm big on I'm big on tradition, but I'm very superstitious. We'll say very superstitious. And I grew up with, well, I didn't grow up, but I worked with a native couple when I was logging in Alberta. It was a foreman of the company that I worked for, and he allowed me and my wife and the kids at the time to live with them because we didn't have housing. So, and him and her were both medicine. He was a medicine man. She was a medicine woman. That's who, right? And she made this. But the deal is my wife, she can't touch this. She can't touch it. She's not allowed to handle it. Uh, Especially when she's that time of month, she's not allowed to, she's not, I don't even smudge. I smudge my house at least once a month, right? I open all the doors in my house. I light my sage this is sweetgrass, and I just go around the house. And because this is a third generation house here that I live on property, and I swear to God, we're haunted. We have some of the baddest luck going on here. Things, I feel like everything I touch breaks. So I do this regularly, and it does help. I find it helps,
Yeah.
you know. So
Uh, I really enjoyed the spot we were camping at last year. That land was the land that my ancestors used to camp on and hunt on and fish on, right there next to that same creek, the same way it was hundreds of years ago. And
yeah.
I had such a strong connection to that land that it was weird, but there was times where I didn't feel like I was walking through the woods by myself. There was
Oh,
always somebody
absolutely,
with me.
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I'm a big
And
believer, and I've
you could
gone
watch my
when
dogs.
I was with that family. They had done sweats. I had been at sweats. I've been at like several different sweats. And also, we here in my hometown here, we have the Micmac tribe here. It's called the Micmac,
Yeah.
and I have so many friends, so many school friends that I went to school with that are part of that reservation, and
What part of
still to
Canada are
this
you in?
day, pardon me,
What part of Canada are you in? Sorry.
Nova Scotia, Nova Scotia, Canada. When I was
So
in
you
Alberta, they were Blackfoot. When I was in Alberta, the family that I lived with, they were Blackfoot tribe. They were from the Blackfoot tribe. So,
That's awesome.
but
So Nova Scotia, so you would know the Huron tribe.
yeah, yeah,
I am Mohawk, Blackfoot, Huron, and Cherokee.
okay, yeah,
There's a lot of times where I say that and people are like, "How are you more than one tribe?" It's called ancestry and genealogy. It's called the fact that they mixed.
yeah, yeah, like we do today. The tribe's still, there was no bad. I think it was the Cherokee or the Comanches were the warriors, were they not? The Comanches they were the tough tribe.
Well, there was quite a few. The Comanches, the Navajo, the Arapaho, the Mohawk, and the wife's gonna get me if I don't remember the last one. The Shawnee.
Okay.
Those tribes were known to be great warriors. Most
Hmm.
natives were known to have great warriors because the only reason a native tribe survived is having great warriors.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah,
Hey, also from Canada. Métis. Yes, the Métis is. Yes, you're right. Métis is from Canada too. Métis, Métis tribe, I think, is in more central of our country, more Ontario-ish, I do believe,
sorry.
and Alberta. I do, yeah, Alberta too. Métis was out in Alberta, BC
351
area too.
Cleveland.
But yeah, I you know what the thing I loved about that family was the traditions and the things that they taught me. Uh, like I said, I'm very superstitious, so the things that they taught me made sense. You know what I mean? Everything that they
Yeah.
said, to cleanse your soul and to cleanse your spirit, and like I said, I just smudged my house yesterday because of Tasha.
Mm.
Remember Tasha? Yeah, because of
Yeah.
Tasha. I did it yesterday because of Tasha, and she knew I was doing it. Because I said, "You're giving me giving me bad karma, girl." But yeah, it's cool. Hey, 351 Cleveland, how are you doing, buddy? 351 Windsor, Windsor, 351 Windsor.
But that's a really great thing that you got accepted by a native family like that. That's what people don't get.
Yeah, well,
It's
like I said, it was
to
me and my wife, and we had two little babies at the time. And when we got to the town, we had, like I said, it was a. Oh, thank you, bro. It was there was no places to live. There was nowheres to live, and I wanted to work for this log. I was a logger, and we were cutting down pulp and paper. We were cutting down pulp trees. Yeah, please. I'll take one though. Uh, and so yeah, so there was no place to live, and they were like Shane. They took us in and treated us like gold. And also, like I said, they taught me about medicines. They taught me a lot about medicines, natural herbs, things like that that I still know to this day. We still use to this day, right? So,
I mean, back in the day, if it was back in the day and they did that for you, they were technically making you part of the tribe. And that's something a lot of people don't get is
well,
it
see,
wasn't,
I went to sweats. I went to sweats, right? Which sweats to be to be acknowledged in a sweat and to be offered to come into a sweat's a big deal. I knew it was a big deal, and I was offered to come into a sweat, mind you. My first couple of sweats were just whoo, were just I almost didn't. Well, I went through all the stages. I hallucinated. Things were. I thought I was going to die at certain points. Because it was true sweat. It was a true sweat, and but I did seven of them all together, and the last ones I felt so much better when I come out of there, and I haven't had one since. I haven't been able to. Nobody does it around here, right?
see what
Authentically, nobody does it around here.
I was saying was is back in the old times that if they had done that for you then, you would have been inducted into the tribe. And that's something a lot of people don't understand nowadays is it wasn't blood. It wasn't, you had to be
Peace
part of the
pipe,
tribe
yeah.
originally to be part of it. No, it was if you were brought in, if you were a conquered tribe and you were brought into that tribe because they killed your warriors and your elders and it was the women and children that they kept, they became
Mm-hmm.
part of the tribe. So that's
Mm-hmm.
why there's a lot of blood mixing and that's why you can be part of multiple tribes even though they only
Yeah.
let you acknowledge one, which is why I don't have a card because I'm not one tribe. Sorry. And
Mm-hmm.
that's awesome, Susan. Your ancestors did the opposite of mine. Mine started down in central New York, and they moved their way up the Adirondacks after they were getting pushed out to go to not Alberta, um, St. Regis. The St. Regis Reservation is where my family landed. I'm
Okay.
having a bad word association
No,
day.
that's fine, man. That's all cool. Those are
Uh,
details. Those are
yeah,
details, and
it.
sometimes they're hard to come out.
Well, since I had my aneurysm last year, I've been recovering, but I have word association issues. I have vocabulary, short-term memory loss, and I've
You
got a
had an
lot of
aneurysm. How you're not that old, bro,
no. I had a brain
and you
aneurysm
had an
burst in the back of my
aneurysm.
head after having 89 concussions in my life. Yeah,
Well, what'd you do to get 89 concussions? What were you doing?
it's called having a rough childhood. My first one was when
Okay.
I was 3. My father took me out of bed when I fell asleep napping with my mom. He took me out of bed, brought me to my room, and tossed me to my bed, but overshot it because he was drunk, and I hit the wall and head of a nail went in the back of my
Oh,
skull.
bro.
So it tore out a chunk of the membrane that connects that soft spot when you're young. So I have a
Yep.
permanent soft spot. You come up behind me and yeah, I'm dead. Just like that.
Oh,
So that's why
yeah.
whenever I get into an accident or I get into a fight, it's life or death for me. You swing on me, I will kill you because you are threatening my
Well,
life.
you have no
Simple as
choice.
that.
You have no
Yeah.
choice. That's
No parts
crazy.
garage. How's it going? And
Hey, no parts. What's up?
that's what people don't get. That's why I'm very passive. That's why I take a lot of shit because if a fight breaks out, it is not a fight for me. It is survival. And that's the way my mindset is, so I react
But
that
you know
way.
what? You know what? Modern. It's also being a gentleman to get out of a fight too.
Yeah.
It's being a gentleman, man. There's no need to fight. There's no need to
Oh, I
fight
always give
anybody.
people three. You know how people say, "Oh, I'll give you one free shot." I give you three. If you still decide to hit me on that third shot, you've made your choice. But I let you get two free.
Yeah.
And it's not me trying to be a tough guy. It's the fact that that's the way my life was. When I was a kid, I got beaten up. I got harassed. I got beaten up by girls because they knew I wouldn't hit them. You know, that if you go back to my men in abusive relationships thing, I talk about that story. It's, I got beaten and harassed and abused, and I got jumped
Bullied.
multiple
Yeah.
times. And people are like, well, why do you dress the way you do? Why do you always carry a knife? Why? Well, let's see. After getting jumped by 5, 7, 9, 10, 11, 13, that's the number of groups. That's the number of people in the groups that jumped me.
Hmm.
So when you're facing 13 dudes and you're by yourself, you
Well,
kind of learn real
no
fast.
bars. No holds barred, man. No holds barred. Yeah.
And like I said, I took my lumps, but guess what? I was not the one that was the most hurt in any of those situations.
Mm-hmm.
I
Well,
got,
you're fighting for your life too.
oh yeah,
Fighting for your life is a whole different story than getting in a little scuffle with somebody and getting a few knuckles skunned off. When
mm-hmm,
you're in a fight and the other person has an issue and they have to either protect themselves or they're in that mind frame that they're gonna live and there's nothing. I find so many fights when I see so many fights that they start pushing and they're scared to punch each other. They don't want to
mm-hmm,
throw that hard punch because you don't know what that's going to end up. But I've seen fights with people like yourself that I knew the minute they punched something that I had to intervene and say, dude, you got to calm down because you're going to kill that guy.
oh yeah.
I see the anger in you. You're going to end up killing that guy and then you're going to be in prison forever. Right.
Well, see,
So,
that's actually the scariest thing when I get into that situation. You'd think I'd be super angry and raged. I am so dead calm. It's terrifying. It's terrifying to me because I've seen video of it. I'm dead calm
mhm,
and I don't move until right at the moment I need to because I'm not there all the time. If I get hit
mhm.
in the head, if I get hit in the face, like I'm not there. I can't see. The next thing I know,
Yeah,
the fight's over.
black out.
So
You
it's
black out.
yeah.
Yeah.
I had a dude. He there was these heavy ice chests. It was like Rubbermaid on steroids. It was the super heavy duty like docking foam wrapped in heavy duty plastic, molded plastic. You could
Hmm.
I've seen these things filled with 40 pounds of ice, thrown 40 feet, and tumble on cement floor, and it doesn't break. But it has four latches that holds it down. And this
Yep.
dude took it off, and he comes over to me, and he goes to take my head off with it, like full baseball swing to my face. And I saw him walking over, and I was like, "There's no way he's gonna do that. He's not that. He
Yeah.
is. He is." And I put up my hand at the last second, and he fractured this whole area from my pinky knuckle down to my wrist bone fractured because
Yeah.
I brought it up super fast as he was swinging and it stopped like impact. We cracked the corner of it. That's how hard he hit it. And he hit me three times with it. On the last one, like my arm came down a couple of times. On the last one, he ticked. It tipped and caught me right on the corner of
Oh
my
shit.
forehead. So I latched onto it, ripped it out of his hands, stood up. And I only know this because I saw the video. Stood up and went towards him, and he swung. And I kind of leaned to the side, and he wraps me in a headlock. But this dude's 4 inches shorter than me, and I have 100 pounds on his ass.
Oh yeah.
He put me in a headlock. So I took my side step back, put my leg behind his, and scooped him under the knee. And I lifted him up. He was parallel with the floor, but at shoulder height. As he lets go of my
Hmm.
neck, you see me just whip around. He's not even falling yet. I literally whip around and catch him by the throat and then kick my feet out. Like that
Yeah.
is diabolical that my subconscious chose to do that move. On cement
Well, it's
floors, I grabbed
your
him by the
mind's
throat.
thinking steps ahead. Your
Yeah,
mind's thinking steps ahead, right?
what's going on,
Yeah, that's
Smokeout?
freaky.
Yeah, and I kicked my feet out, so our bodies were almost even as I just held him and then drove him into the floor. And his head smashed off the concrete. He impacted on his shoulders and the back of his head and his neck. I came to just as I was leaning up and I had my hand on his throat still and I looked at him and his eyes are just,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and I'm like,
Comatose.
oh no.
You got to
Oh
stop.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I stood up and I was like, oh shit, I fucking killed him. And I just backed away. And after the officer showed up, realized that he attacked me and he was only unconscious, but later on it was found out that he had brain damage. He has this kind of
Oh
twitch now
shit.
and his one eye is a little droopy. Um, he had like an instantaneous stroke kind of thing.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
and he doesn't remember the next 3.5 hours. He was escorted to the hospital, and he said the next thing that he remembers is he was throwing up 3 hours later.
Yeah. From a concussion.
Yep,
From his
yep.
brain being knocked
And
out. He was throwing up. I've had one concussion, one bad concussion where oh, it was horrible, buddy. It was I don't want another one. I don't want another one. Ever.
I'm going to switch it to a solo, so that way you might be able to see this.
Okay. Yeah,
There's a line somewhere through here.
I
It's
do
really hard to see.
see. Yeah,
Right there, right there.
yeah,
I split my skull like that.
yeah.
Uh, Obviously, you know what a T-post is, being a farmer.
Mm-hmm.
You know those 8 foot green ones that have the white painted tip, the
Mm-hmm.
super heavy duty
Yep.
T-posts?
Yep.
Well, that one was sunk 3.5 feet, so it was only about 4 feet high or so, and it was like grown into a root. A tree root grew around it, and it was not coming out. So I had to
Yeah.
move a chicken coop by it. So my ex and I were lifting the chicken coop and dragging it through. Her end was on the ground because she wasn't lifting, and I was pulling it through, but it snagged onto the chicken coop. Now it's already taken me a half an hour to fucking inch this thing 20 feet.
Yeah.
So I was already pissed off.
Sure
She
you were.
wasn't pulling her weight. She wasn't helping how she
And
should.
that even makes you work when you're pulling with somebody or lifting with somebody and they don't lift with you. Yeah, it pisses you off.
And it makes the work so much harder than if you just fucking did it yourself.
Yeah.
So as we went past that T post, her end sagged onto it, and through the adjustment, it ended up arcing. It was fucking arced back like a bow. And I was like, great, the thing's bent. It's gonna be a pain in the ass to get by. But it was also snagged on it. So I didn't
Just a SPG. SPG. Okay. Yeah.
so I didn't think nothing of it. And I just had to get the chicken coop off the T post. So I was like, fuck it. I leaned forward and I shoved it. That thing came free and snapped up.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, it
Oh
caught me
Jesus.
through one of these bandanas, one of the thicker ones. It caught me right there in the middle, split me an inch and a half on my forehead, sent me back 2 steps up onto my feet, and then I felt it. I was like, oh, and I
I'm
moved the
bleeding.
bandana,
Yeah.
and it just poured down my face.
Yeah.
And I had to seek medical attention myself. I had to handle it myself because what do I get? Freak
Yeah.
out.
What the
Total
blood?
spaz
Blood.
freak out. I'm sorry. Women should naturally be born with the ability to deal with blood. They have to every month. They should have desensitized to that by the time they're in their 20s. Sorry.
Yeah.
And that wasn't
Yeah.
like a
Well,
sexist
hey.
comment. That's simply the fact that she was such a spazoid that she couldn't handle that shit when I could have very possibly just died and split my skull open. And she would have sat there
Yeah. Well,
spazzing out and probably
died
passed
is the
out.
key word. Key word is died.
Yeah.
Right.
So I had to take the bandana, crush it on my head, go to the barn, grab the first aid kit, get the fuck out of the barn before I got covered with dust, go to the van, and then patch myself up and then go and finish the fucking job. So my client shows up and I've got a patch across my fucking head. My bandana's on the gate that they just drove up to, and it's soaked in blood. I tried to wring it out and get it out, but it's blood red. It was black
Yeah.
and white. And they're looking at me when I walk up and they're like, "The hell'd you do?" I was like, "I got my head cracked by a T-post," and I'm like this the whole time. I'm still hard to
Yeah,
focus. They're like, "Why didn't you just go home and finish tomorrow?" I was like, "Because the chickens needed to get put in the coop. It was open." Like,
yeah.
why? I was like,
Had
I
to
had to
get
finish the
done. The
job.
job had to get
Yeah,
done. I've been there lots of times where I haven't been hurt that bad, but I've had to get something done in a hurry, and something's messed up, and I'm like, I still got to do it. I still, people say, "Hey, you're so frustrated. Just calm down and come back to it tomorrow." Well, no, I can't. I got to do it right now. I've got to do it right
no,
now.
especially if you leave, that shit's gonna fester in your head all night.
You're not going to sleep. You're not going to sleep.
It's like I've been fucked up on farms a lot. Like I said, in Washington, I was there for 5 years. I managed my own business. I built it up word of mouth. I didn't even advertise. Word of mouth. I built it up and was able to get 30 plus clients. Some of my worst
Hmm.
injuries are from a farm. I've gotten
Yeah.
uh,
Well, yeah.
methane sickness. I've gotten methane
Yep.
sickness from inhaling too much methane over 3 month period.
Yep.
Mold sickness from inhaling mold in that
Yep.
same process.
Yep. Silos. Silos are terrible, my friend. Silos are terrible.
Oh, see, this was a greenhouse that was converted into a goat barn and then wasn't cleaned out for 3 years. She tried to tell me 3 months, but I know how long it
And dirty
takes.
farms. Dirty
Yeah,
farms. Dirty
I
farms.
know
Yeah.
I know how long it takes for shit and hay to compost into soil. When I go down and I hit 3 layers of soil, it's been more than 3 months.
It's been a while. It's been a
That's
while.
3 years. That first
Yeah.
line was a year where it started turning into soil. And then it turned into black, rich soil as I went down. So that was there for
Mhm.
a long fucking time. You can't tell me that. Sorry.
Yep.
I'm too smart, but I'm
And
not
you
going to call
breathing
you out
those
on it.
spores in, you breathing those spores in is not good for you, my friend.
No, I permanently now, if I walk into a room, mold. I can tell you
You can
because I
smell it.
can
Yeah,
smell it.
me
I can
too.
taste it.
Yeah, I
The
can smell
second it's
mold.
there,
I can smell mold. I can smell mildew. I
methane.
can walk just past a building or a car or anything, and I know the smell of mold. I know the smell of mildew. I know the smell of like you said, the sweeter the air gets, the worse you don't want to be around. The sweeter the air gets, my friend.
Oh yeah, that
Silos
methane.
are horrible for methane gas. Silos create methane gas. All
Oh,
that
especially the
silage.
corn silos. If that built up on the bottom, all that moist corn gets broken down, you are just in
Well,
damn near
it's the
ethanol
worst thing
gas.
is the silage bins, because the silage silos, because the silage goes in wet and it gets
Hmm.
dried in the silo. And silage, it's cut hay or cut grass is all
Yeah,
silage is, right? So, and
and I see it, baby.
it produces super methane gas very quickly, very quickly. And
Yeah.
if you get
So,
caught inside one, if you get caught inside a silo, if you go too deep into a silo, you only there's different trap doors in a silo, and if you go into a silo and you start smelling that sour on a first or second floor, you get the hell out. You get the hell out. You don't mess with it. What you have to do then, you have to purge it off, right? You have to purge your silos off, right?
yeah. And that was the biggest problem. Like, I'd be going, and if you're mucking out the barn, you've got to lean down, put your foot on the fork, and crank it. And when you crank it, your face is right there. So you just catch that face full of just aerosol
Mm-hmm.
mold spores and methane gas. And what people don't get is when you inhale too much methane, you
And
can't
the
just
worst thing
go out
about a
into.
mold spore is when you get them inside of you, they will stick inside of you. They stick to you on the inside. They like the moisture. Your
Hmm.
lungs are a perfect spot
And
for
something else that
spores,
most people
right?
don't think of when it comes to methane, when you inhale methane, it is heavier than air. So you can stand in fresh air. If you've got a quarter lung full of methane, you can sit there and exhale all day. It won't go anywhere. Your mouth needs to
Yep.
be lower than the bottom of your lungs. You need to pour it out
Mm-hmm.
of your lungs.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had to do that every
Hey, Miss
15, 20
Native.
minutes. Yeah, she's on break. She sent me a message, and
Oh,
I love you
cool.
too, baby. I hope
That's
you're
your
having a good day.
missus?
Yep.
That's your missus? Yeah, okay. Cool. Awesome.
I
Yeah,
need to
that's
switch
cool, boy.
headphones. Can you say something for me? Okay, I can hear it now. Now,
Yeah, you're
just
good.
be cool. How's it going?
Hey, just be cool metal detecting. I love this metal detecting coming in here. This is
Yeah, like I
great.
said, I'm part of the magnetic squatch, and he does magnet fishing mainly, but he does a lot of metal detecting too sometimes, and he groups all those guys together, the treasure hunters. So,
Hmm.
hey Rambo,
Rambo, what's up, Rambo?
radio prepper,
Hey,
I
thanks for
still
coming in this
say,
morning.
radio prepper, I still say your name throws me off every single time I see that KOMRD. I'm like, oh, bot. You almost get shot down so many times, bro. But thank you for popping in, taking the risk.
Radio prepper. Oh, nice. Ham
But you
radio.
see the first part of it. You see the first part of it, and then he
Yeah, it
says
kind of
the
gets you on that.
KO.
Yeah,
Then he says KOMRD checking in, and my first thing is like, oh, bot.
yeah, yeah.
First time I almost nailed him, and then he was like, I'm not a bot, and I was like, oh, cool, cool, cool. Thanks for coming in. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
Rambo,
the
how are
magnetic
you, Rambo?
squatch,
I
he
really
gets a lot of
appreciate you
those.
coming in this morning. You were in my show this morning, Rambo. It was awesome. Thanks for coming in and checking us out.
Yeah, I remember that radio prepper. But yeah, the magnetic squatch has that big treasure hunting community, so it's anything like that you can go out and hunt treasures. Even my creek
Well, don't
walking, they
forget
like
here,
that.
you know, uh, you know, I've here in Nova Scotia. There's such a history of sunken treasures and all that. You guys. There was even a show, right? There's even a
Yeah,
show. Uh, so it's a big deal here. So when I got into metal detecting, I like I said, I got a bounty hunter metal detector and a bounty hunter pinpointer. And I got different heads for my bounty hunters too. I got different two different heads on it. I got an underwater and just a surface, but I
yeah,
love
I'm
it.
gonna need an underwater one. And thanks, Rambo.
Yeah,
I
well,
appreciate
the
you hanging out.
underwater, you know what? The underwater one is great because you can. I love to pan too. I love to pan for gold and that on a creek, like a nice creek, especially here. You can. And another thing I'll tell you that I figured out with a cousin of mine is we had a whole bunch of new culverts put in all over the county. And the thing with a culvert, it's a sluice. A culvert is a sluice, if you really think about it. Water runs through it and it leaves sediment within the rings or within the corrugated. And my cousin started going, like, these are big culverts too. They're not like you can fit inside of them, right?
Yeah,
And he started going in and actually scooping out all the sediment in these things and taking it back and putting it through his own sluice. And he was getting gold like crazy, right? And he didn't have to do nothing for it. It was, nature was doing it basically,
yeah, especially if
right?
you got one of those down a little bit of a gradient there, like that'll
Yeah,
definitely
well,
work it
all the
out for you
culverts,
after a
all
heavy
these
storm.
big culverts, and they use plastic culverts now, these big black plastic ones, and they got
Yeah.
really deep grooves in them. So when they're on a little bit of a tilt for water run, it's an automatic sluice right there, automatic.
Now, are you trying to go to the higher end to collect the gold or the lower end?
He takes everything. He cleans them right out from the start to the finish. He cleans them, and then also he's also taken anything that's in front, like at the where the water runs out, where the end water runs out. He's taken a dig at that. He's taken 2 or 3 feet of soil right in front of where the water drops, right? Like which would be tailings, basically be tailings, right?
Yeah.
But yeah,
There's a lot of
and
creeks
he's
out
done
here
well
that
with
run
it. I
into a
mean, he's
culvert
done
that I
well.
could do that on.
But I've got a backhoe. I've got a backhoe. We've been trying to team up because my cousin here in Nova Scotia, you can buy old gold claims for like pennies on the dollar. And as long as you are on the site for at least 400 hours a year, you can keep that lease. You can keep that gold lease. And we've been wanting to get, we would his lease that he has, his gold. It's abandoned mine, is what it is. Abandoned gold mine. And the thing is back in the day, they didn't have the equipment we have now. I got a backhoe.
Yeah.
right? And he's like, Shane, let's bring that backhoe up. And he wants to put his trailer, his little travel trailer up there, and us to go. And I would love to do it. Like we are going to do it at some point, believe it. You know,
I'd love to do that. I've always wanted to go and find even just something like the size of my thumb. I'd love to find one.
even I'm fanatic when I do panning. I get excited just finding flakes, right?
I mean, hey, it melts down.
If you get enough flakes, it adds up. If you get enough flakes, my friend, it adds up, right?
That's why I don't throw
Mother
out
Earth
any
has a lot of gold
electronics.
left in her.
That's why I don't throw out electronics because when it comes down to it, fucking 500, 600 pieces of electronics, I'll have about a quarter of an ounce. Easy.
Well, everything is, yeah, you're right. And there's places that do that. They melt down those computer boards and all that kind of stuff for the gold, and they do well. They do well.
See, what I want to do is I want to go around the garage sales because a lot of towns out here we have like garage sale week or a weekend where the whole
Hmm.
town everybody puts out their
Yeah,
garage
we do
sales.
that here too. Yeah,
I want to go around and collect all of their um, jewelry because they'll sell them for
nothing.
pennies, a whole thing for
Yeah,
$5, and I'll go through and I'll filter out the 24 carats, the 18 carats, the 12 carats, and I'll melt them
yeah.
down individually. I want to make native coins. I want
Oh,
to make a
nice.
little press and cast my own
Melt it
coins.
down. Yeah, yeah. That'd be, yeah. Why not? Why not, man? Why not? Yeah. Well, man, I'm gonna drop down. I gotta go eat some supper. My kid just came and told me there's some supper made, and I gotta go up and grab it. I really appreciate it, Modern Native, for having me up, man.
Oh,
Everybody
I
in the
appreciate
chat
you
is so
hanging out.
cool. Well, I'm gonna come
I pre-
back. I'm gonna come
yeah, I was
back,
gonna say I
bro. I'm
appreciate you
gonna
hanging
come
out
back.
because I ain't got like shit to talk about when I'm by myself sometimes. So it's like this is boring.
Yeah, I've been there. I've been there. But I'll be back, man. I enjoy what you're doing. I love the idea of you being out where you're at and not dealing with the shit that's in. You're off the grid, right?
Yeah, like
Yeah,
we stay
that's
on
the way
Tasha's
to live,
property.
everybody. That's what we're supposed to be doing right now. We're supposed to be growing communities and not being materialistic. Get out of your materials, everybody, because it's not going to be worth nothing when shit hits the fan. Modern Natives got it. So anybody that's in the chat or anybody that listens to this later, listen to this guy. Thank you, buddy.
Appreciate that.
I'll see you after.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for hanging out. So anybody who wants to come up and hang out, I'm gonna post the link again. There you be. And I saw your messages, baby. I love you too. I hope you're having a good day at work. Sorry, I was checking my notifications. I don't know. That's something I think about when talking about how Shane said that he was accepted by the native family that he was working with. That's what people don't get is back in the day when it came down to it, the natives weren't. It wasn't. They weren't really racist. I'm sure some were, obviously, but as a whole, they weren't a racist people. They weren't prejudiced. They weren't. If you had something to offer, if you had something to share, if you contributed, if you wanted to be involved, if you were peaceful, they treated you the same way. They accepted you. And that's something that we don't have enough of nowadays, where it's judgment and okay, baby, I love you. I hope you have a good time at work, or at least, it's an okay night at work. And I'll talk to you on your next break. I got to get some firewood here soon before the storm hits. But I think people are just too hung up on differences and race and sexism and everything else. It's when it comes down to it, everybody is equal. Nobody is better than anybody else. Nobody's worse than anybody else, except for how you act. That's what makes all the difference. And if you act prejudiced, racist, sexist, things like that, then it's you label yourself when you do that. So it says we got 7 here. Uh, do a little roll call here, an hour 15. Say hi. Let me know who you are. I know got the wife. Shane's probably still watching in the background, even if he's not up here. And who else is hanging out? And thank you, Rambo. Just be cool metal detecting. Radio prepper. Smoked out. No parts garage. Susan Big. 351 Cleveland. Keep digging. Thank you all for coming out, hanging out. Definitely appreciate you. So yeah, say hi if you guys got any questions, have anything you want to talk about, need any advice, hit me. I'm open. I've got a lot of great videos planned already. I hope everybody checks out my Widowmaker Survival Challenge. It's not that long. It only takes about a half hour. But it's I'm gonna be doing a Q&A about my survival challenge. So I would like, see if anybody has any questions or anything they want to talk about. But some stuff you guys can look forward to coming out soon is a video. It's don't care what people think, and it's how people are like, oh, I don't give a shit what people think. It's talking about that statement and what it actually means and the way it was meant to be, and maybe not the arrogant side of that, but taking that in a wholesome way will actually be very positive in your life. Um, One of my other ones that are coming up is time is finite. It's just about understanding that time is your resource and it's very limited and you need to appreciate it and spend it wisely. Um, One of my other ones coming up is doubt less, with a dash in the middle. And that's just reminding you that doubting yourself does more harm than anything. Um, One of my other ideas coming up is argue less. I was in a groove that day. And that's just remembering that sometimes it's not worth it and it's pointless to argue. So just don't do it. Easier said than done, but I go through a whole process of things to keep in mind as to why not to. Um, a bad day or a bad moment. Did you have a bad day? Or was it one moment that ruined your whole day for you? And another one is don't ruin the future. And it's just talking about evolution and social changes and hoping for the better and not holding kids to old traditions when they should be able to expand. What's going on, BC family? What's up? I'm just doing an open chat, hangout, Q&A, whatever. Um, I dropped the link if anybody wants to hang out and come up on panel. Right now, I'm just kind of talking about some of the video ideas I have lined up that I'm going to be doing soon. Um, like lies, the most dangerous game. Because a lie is a weapon, but it's double-edged, and it'll hurt you far worse than you can ever expect. Be true to yourself, and that's not letting people stifle your voice just because they don't agree, and to not change your views, your opinions, or your ethics. There we go. And just be true to yourself. And then I have another one that's about building your tribe and just making sure you have good quality people in your life and good quality friends and choosing your tribe wisely. I've got a uh, another one about dealing with failure. It's kind of an upbeat, uplifting, inspiring thing to just help people have a better frame of mind when they deal with failure. Um, Cabin fever redefined, talking about how it's not just like being stuck in a house, being stuck in a cabin. It's isolation and it comes in different forms. For the love of dogs, I'm gonna love doing that one because these boys are our kids. Be a better caveman. And that's actually a title for a fire video. Actually going through the explaining. Yeah, it's a explanation about fire. It's a better way of thinking about it and things like that. Sorry, there was something written there that I didn't quite understand myself. When you don't understand your own notes, you definitely know something. Then I have a knots video coming out because Laura Jones requested that on my video requests post. I have a video coming out about forgiveness, self-explanatory. Filling your own cup, which just means finding happiness in yourself and not having to look outward for it. Um, got another one I'm gonna do about why start a YouTube. I did, you know, how to start a YouTube. Or no, did I already? No, I didn't do that one yet. I did number one mistake. Oh, I got a ton of them. Um, then like I said, I got the Widowmaker Q&A. I've got it titled, but I don't have any questions for myself, so it's actually hard for me to come up with them. That's why I want to wait until people get a chance to watch it and be able to ask me questions and stuff. Then I have another one I'm going to do about navigate like the ancestors, which pretty much is just explaining about how you can navigate and explore the woods and nature and not get lost without having a compass, or if your compass breaks, or if your phone dies. Things like that. Just things that can help somebody to navigate the way my ancestors did. I'm going to do a live, probably a live, about YouTuber burnout and talking about that. So that way, if anybody has any questions about YouTuber burnout or the struggle to come up with content, I'm going to be making a new channel commercial for people who visit my channel, new viewers who find my channel. It'll be pinned up at the top to just kind of give you an overview feeling of what my channel is about. So that's a new upgrade that's coming to my channel soon. And one of my favorite new ones that I came up with is stay humble to survive. Because the cocky, arrogant asshole who thinks he knows everything but actually doesn't is the one who's at most risk in the wild. You need to understand that you need to be very humble and have some humility when it comes to what you do and do not know about being in the wild and exploring nature. So, I mean, if anybody wants to come up on panel, chat, hang out, if anybody has any questions, you can put it down in chat or you can come up and talk to me. Um, I'm sorry I didn't actually pin it onto the chat. Um, I didn't end up going back into it to do that, unfortunately. But I can drop it anytime if anybody wants to come up. Rocky Mountain Life Prospecting, how's it going? Exactly. Wilderness doesn't recognize entitlement. Alrighty, Rob. Do you want to come up and hang out on panel when you come back, or you want to hang out and chat? You're welcome. What's going on, Dutch? And I love the camp life. I always do. That's why we full-time camp. The insects have been bad recently, though. Definitely. Whew. Do I have any of these that I haven't filled out yet? I'm actually excited to do my water video, and it's different ways to harvest water, and one of them is going to be explaining a geofilter. It's, moss, charcoal, sand. Hey, Elizabeth, how's it going? You're showing up late today. Uh, and I can't help it. I really want to do a response video for Dust, Detroit Urban Survival Training. That fool is going to actually get somebody killed, and they don't understand it. That's part of the reason why I made that video about the dangers of irresponsible influencers, and it was thinking about people like Dust, Detroit Urban Survival Training, how they are very boisterous and are like, anybody can disarm somebody, and you can stop a gun with your finger, and you can take someone down with one finger. And it's like, sure, that's true technically, but when it comes down to it, the things that the when you're dealing with someone in that situation, there's a lot of resistance. There's a lot of survival instincts, and nobody's going to let you do half the things that he does to the people he trains, and all it's going to do is get people killed. Did you see I was questioning it?
Yes. I can't talk, but you can watch.
You're gonna get yourself in trouble, bitch.
It's fine. We have less than 29,000. We'll be out of here before lunch. And I'm closing. No one pays attention to me when I'm closing. They pay attention to my numbers. And I'm coming through all that, y'all.
So, I feel like that's a troll. Good looking honky. Says native. Hi, Peter North here. All the cult film star. Awesome content tonight, guys. Thanks, Peter North. It's so weird. I don't care about you being a adult film star. Like, I don't care. Sorry. That's just a weird opener, bro. To just be like, hey, I'm an old adult film star, and I'm here cool. It's it's just a really weird opener,
Yeah, sounds like
especially with how many porn trolls there are and porn bots that people are real quick on the shooting them down and blocking them. Well, that's awesome. It's all good. That was just really weird. Um, but that's awesome. Interesting topic though. So, who is your favorite actress that you were partnered with? I'm a big porn star fan. So, yeah, no judgment. I know that name, Jessica Drake. Yeah, yeah. That's he's talking about. I asked him what who his favorite actress was to work with, and he said Jessica Drake. I know her. I've probably watched some of your films, bro.
yeah, probably. And that's his wife saying that.
Honey, I do have to say though that the white noise in the background from the machinery is a bit much.
Well, I don't have to stay on, it's fine. I just, wanted to show everyone what I was doing.
That's fine.
You can't really see me anyways, except when I come through.
And it's better if I have you watching rather than up here anyway.
Yeah.
But that's cool. Interesting. I haven't seen the inside yet, so it's interesting.
I'll do it quick. Okay.
You can just go, baby. I don't want you to get in trouble, and I want you to work and the white noise. So just
That's
hop back
fine.
into the chat and hang out.
Yeah. Alright.
Love you.
Love you.
Bad girl. Right, Susan? Right? Got to go find him. Because I'm playing through my head. I'm like, I know that name. I'm not drinking some Monster. It's the wife's leftover. Be breaking into this soon, though. There. Had to cut the glare. Really think I might take you guys with me to go and get some firewood, though. Susan, bring us some bud. We don't have anything to smoke. Smoked the last of our resin ball last night. Took a resin ball and rolled it into some stems just to get it to smoke. Shit was gross. I hate Budweiser with a passion. Can't stand the smell, can't stand the sight of it, any of it. I don't like that my new phone doesn't have the little battery thing next to the Bluetooth. Oh yeah, I wanted to test this, but weird. So I hope you guys can still hear me. I was just testing it out, seeing if that would pause the mic or not. And that's fine, Susan. We're not big on drinking that much. I do it only to help my kidney stones. Drinking regularly helps me break down my kidney stones so I can pass it. But yeah, we're definitely huge smokers. I love my dabs. I love my weed. We got a nice little hybrid nectar collector banger piece. Awesome for smoking out here. I have a 3 foot bong for my wax, but that's awesome. The wife's off on the weekends, so we'll be able to hang out. We're not mobile very much, but we can get around still. See if Auntie wants to come and hang out. I think you were over on Tasha's page. Um, it's Arts and Adventures with Mother Trucker, and it's spelled all sorts of weird. Dash Tasha. You can find it in my subscriptions. And I'm super mad. I'm gonna have to harass Auntie because she doesn't hang out with me in my lives anymore. She was guaranteed first one in. That or the Bud Files. I definitely appreciate the Bud Files. If you're still hanging out, I appreciate you. You're almost always like first one as soon as I'm active. There you go. Ooh, I haven't smoked hash in a hot minute. I can't remember the last time I had hash. Yeah, see, I'm even when I'm drunk, when I'm stoned, I'm super laid back and chill. Like it's hard to get me angry. But yeah, I definitely get it. But I definitely get that Rocky Mountain, Rob. It's some people it's just not worth the risk to try. I'm super cautious. My father was an alcoholic, big alcoholic, so I'm super careful. It's actually why it irritates me that I get kidney stones so much, and that drinking occasionally helps it break down so I can pass my kidney stones easier. But I mean, if you've got to pass a stone, you know, 3 or 4 times a month, it kind of gets. Yeah, see, you know your limitations, you know how it acts for you, so you don't do it. Definitely get it. So that's why what I'll do is if I feel like I've been drinking too much too often, I'll take a break. I'll deal with the kidney stones, but I'll take a break just to be like, just to know that I'm not getting too dependent on drinking, that it's not starting to grow on me. That's why I enjoy smoking. I've been smoking since I was a kid. First time I smoked weed, I was 9. I was hanging out with a buddy, and he got me stoned, and I came home. And it was the first time in a while that I didn't get all stressed out. My mom was sick growing up, so it was really stressful for me. And my mom saw me and she was like, you're gonna smoke again, aren't you?" And I was like, "Yeah. I don't want you going out there and getting something laced or something dirty. Just smoke with me. It'll be safe. You can stay home. It'll be so some people disagree with that, but she kept me safe. What's going on, Gray Wolf? How's it going, Cliff? I definitely get that, Susan. So we got 10 hanging out. That's awesome. Say howdy. I've only got 4 hours to stream on StreamYard left, so I might save an hour or two for the next couple of days. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, weed helps with the anxiety, the depression, the ADHD, everything. Yeah, you and the wife were talking about that the other night or last night, one of them. So I dropped the link if anybody wants to come up and chat and hang out. Um, Shane said he'll come back soon after he's done with Jenner. Um, well, holy shit, went from 9 to 4. Gotta love that. Or 10 to 4. Woo. But probably gonna take you guys with me to go and get some firewood. Gotta decide where I want to get the firewood from. trying to think where I have a dead tree or a dropped tree already that I can go and mess with. Quick goat. Sorry, random thought. Gotcha. Yeah, that it's really messed up, Grey Wolf, that they still own all the mineral rights. But that's why what I'm gonna do when I was talking about it with Shane, I'm going to collect old gold and old jewelry and stuff from garage sales and stuff, and I'm gonna cast my own coins. And if by chance some natural gold gets mixed into the 24 karat gold, what they don't know don't hurt them. I honestly think that that was actually developed a long time ago because of how so many of our waterways are connected. Any mining in the state would end up contaminating waterways and spreading. So I think I have a feeling that that's like where it stemmed from because mining has such bad water contamination related to it that that was something New York wanted to avoid right off the bat. So that way there wasn't a bunch of people setting up mines. Yeah, exactly. But that's why I said I would do the whole gathering old gold just to do that because I can account for that gold. Prove I got any other. Thanks for the heads up. Um, I was hoping somebody would be on panel when I went to go and do firewood so that way somebody could talk while I muted my mic and we just kind of hung out. Um, is it moving south that fast though? Jeez. Sorry, I'm grinding what little teeth I have left. Um, yeah. Huh. That's funny. Oh, we're actually not that far, like at all. Um, yeah, I hate the city too. I think we're only about 20 minutes away from Albany, if that. So we're probably super close. Sorry, everybody. I'm going up the chainsaw. Can't currently see the chat. Let's see. I know, right, Susan? Everybody always talks about New York, and when they talk about New York, everybody thinks of the city. But then all of us up here in upstate New York are like, no, I've actually never been to the city. I live in the woods. I had somebody say, when I think of New York, I don't picture trees. Well, this is New York, right here. And yeah, Syracuse is not much better, I grew up. So let me see if I can decide. Yeah, exactly. Upstate New York is 90% of New York, but people think of New York City because it actually has about 90% of our population. They definitely should be considered separate. Governed by the same laws for the most part. Really, Tosh? I didn't think we were that far away. When I look at it on the map, it looks super close. Because when I was in Gloversville, I was only about an hour north of Albany. Yeah, pretty much. When I scooped it up, I must have hit the camera button. There we go. I'll just take that little guy. I've always wanted to live on an island. So if anybody wants to come up on panel while I'm doing firewood, let me know. Oh, that's awesome. That's a powerful spot to be sitting at. Alrighty. Well, I'm going to do the firewood real fast. I'm gonna mute it so that way you guys don't have the chainsaw buzzing in your ear. Or I can leave my headphone over here so it's just not loud. Uh, there. So if anybody has watched my channel, you guys know I do this in stages. So I drop the tree, cut it in a few sections that are easy to move. And in doing that, whew, man, when it's hot and muggy like this, it makes it so hard to breathe. How's it going, Marianne? You have a good one, Susan. Thanks for hanging out. And this is why most of my lives are at night, because during the day I got this stuff to do. So trying to do a live, pay attention to you guys, talk, it makes it hard to actually do a live. Alrighty. So we're done with the firewood, and we're going to start the fire. It's still hot. It's super muggy, but the fire helps kind of dry out the air, and it keeps the bugs away. So because I don't want to mess with the fire, I don't want to fight with it, I took duct tape and wrapped it around this little bundle of sticks. You guys have seen me do this before. I do this to waft the smoke underneath the tarp shelter so that way it floods all the bugs out of here. And it makes the smoke sit lower to the ground for a while, so it kind of helps out the whole camp. And fortunately, that just started the fire. Here. Yes, but the hot air from fire can further evaporate the humidity that's condensing at a lower area. So it makes it evaporate and travel higher. And being that I'm in a semi-enclosed area, it pushes the humidity out of this environment. So it works. But thanks for joining, Fred. Gotta love how that dry, dead pine burns. And then there was one. So this is a good time. For anybody who has made it through the replay to this point, your replay code word for my replay champions, put it down in the comment section of this video, is farm. F-A-R-M. Farm. Put that down in the comments section underneath this video on the replay. If you've watched it up to this point and you've caught the code word, put it down there. Let me know that you are a replay champion. I will be doing something special for my replay champions coming soon. So definitely pay attention, catch those code words. Let me know that you are here, even after the fact, and I will put you on the list for my replay champions when I get around to doing the special. Not even sure yet what I'm going to be doing, if it's going to be a piece of merch or some sort of giveaway, something. Not sure. So, hello to whoever's hanging out. Say hi. Ask some questions. Interact. I'm getting firewood, and this heat always takes some energy out of me. So. If anybody wants to come up and hang out, chat. Hey there, everybody. Sorry it's a little dark, but I'll be with you in just a minute. And right now, you're going to see a little bit of a preview of some of the stuff I got in some of my stores. I've done some major updates and added a lot of different merchandise to all of my stores. And stay tuned for the big updates that are coming for my announcement. So stay tuned, and while you wait, if you want to, you do me a huge favor if you go and you check out my Patreon, my stores, and all my links are in my About page, and I'll be including some in my description. I appreciate everybody, and thank you so much. Tons of updates coming soon. Stay tuned. Alrighty, so I hope you guys liked what you saw, and feel free to go and check out the stores and my Patreon and everything. A lot of information to check out there. And we'll be here when you get back, because I'll be live for a little bit while to explain everything. Thank you. Until next time, get out there, be a native, and go beast. So I wonder if my audio was messed up there for a little bit. Is this still working? Okay, good. Always gonna check that audio. I decided to take my Bluetooth out because I didn't need it anymore, and I just wanted to make sure that it was still connected. But I mean, if nobody wants to come up and hang out, nobody wants to chat, nothing like that, I'm gonna be running out of things to say here. You know, just random bullshitting stuff. I'm kind of running low on my small talk, talking to myself. So I guess we'll just hang out and sit for a few minutes and enjoy the fire. Thank you to the two people hanging out. Pretty sure I know who you are. Um, wife always tells me I have to. But, so yeah, I think I'm gonna call it. Nobody's hanging out, nobody's coming in. Um, yeah. So last call. Otherwise, you know what it is. Alrighty. So until next time, get out there, be a native, and go beast.